Yo, what up, what up? It's DIY the Grappler back for another video. I was going to cover some in living color type of deal intro, but I couldn't think of one. So it's going to be a quick video. I'm looking at my, one, two, three, I think fifth slab here. Or paver, if you want to call it that, paver slab type of deal. Over here, just doing basically the most, I don't want the most, but part of the, kind of like one of the most tedious parts of just like leveling the ground and leveling the form here. Usually I start out a little earlier. One of my guys got an MMA fight coming up, so I was at the gym getting them ready, which is all good. I got to get my guys ready to go. So bang, start a little late. So right here, I'm not going to go through exactly of like step by step the dry pour process. I have like other videos. There's a million videos on YouTube also. So right here, I got the dry pour in the deal. I just want to go over some of the main aspects of the game is like, that I'm trying to, incorporate into mine is like the compacting to, eliminate air pockets, the water curing to create strength. So right here, I just put in, the dry pour. There's two pavers in there also under there, which at this point you can't see. So I started compacting, and then here you're starting to see it go down a little bit. You're starting to see a shape. So I'm just taking a little 2x4. I didn't really use my, my hand tamper on this one. Little 2x4. I'm catching the edges on this one. Starting to go down, taking away these air pockets, these air voids, that end up later on after it gets, hydrated, it starts coming up, creating like, spalling and, little holes and, whatever at the top here. So started the good old, compacting process. This guy creating concrete. So this guy talks about, he has another channel that I'm actually studying. This guy has a lot of solid information, like technical, scientific type information about this concrete, So anyway, here I compacted more. So you can see that the two pavers are starting to come out now. The more I compact, the more the pavers are coming out. These are concrete pavers. I'm just using them as a filler. They're coming out more, meaning that the dry pour is compressing. As it compresses, it's taking out the air pockets and the air voids. So yeah, bada bing, bada boom. I'm just compacting. I'm not going to bore you too much with this whole video of me watching me do all this stuff, and But anyway, my old lady on top of that took the tripod to go ahead and videotape herself doing some stuff. Exact same time I want to do this, she takes the tripod. It's all good, bada bing, bada boom. So I'm just improvising here. So here I'm still using the sand mix. This one I'm going to use a little, something different. But here, yeah, 5,000 PSI. I'm using the sand mix topping. I used a little less this time on top. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, evolve each slab. I'm trying to evolve and create a better one and learn from the past and, make a whole new deal. So right here, I just got the sand mix on top, boom, screeding, the regular scheduled program. You know how that goes. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this edger out. And then look at me, bada bing, bada boom. It's whatever. So I fix. I'm like, at this point, I'm just experimenting. I'm like, you know what? Let me just try it out. I was like, I wasn't even planning to use it. What I was gonna do was I was gonna scrape the edges, and do my deal, scrape them down. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna scrape the edges so it's not overlapping. But I'm like, let me try it out, and I'm like, let me see. So it goes. I'm like, hold on, that's not really that bad. That looks all right. So I'm like, at this point, I'm still not 100% gonna do it. I was like, if I need to, I'll just re-screed it, put some more sand mix down, re-screed it, start all over, scrape the edges like I was doing. I know last one I said I'm going to use this edger, so I was like, let me try it. But in my mind still, I was like, nah, because the first time I did it, I actually ran into this problem right here where the sand mix, even though I was using mortar mix at the time, it's just folding back under. So I'm like, what's the point of using this? But I figured something out. As time goes on, I figure something out. So I'm like, look at this. It's just folding back in, but I'm like, hold on. Over here is good, but over here is not that great. So at this point, I'm still not 100% with it, but I'm like, hold on. I'm seeing some kind of brightness here. So I'm like, let me go ahead and take my time and do it again. So I'm like, hold on. I'm like, this could be a thing. Look at this. Maybe I just need to take my time a little bit more, take my time, have some patience. And I realized the more that, the sand mix, the mortar mix that's overlapping onto the form, that's the one that's folding back under. So the more I kind of, you probably didn't see that process because I didn't, obviously you didn't see it because I didn't videotape it, but I would scrape the excess and then I would edge it again, scrape the edge, edge it again, hoping, that it'd work out. And it was starting, it did. It, actually reminded me of like that, snow TV type of deal in the 80s, that picture framing, the snow deal with the edges. But anyway, bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm seeing some light. I'm like, okay, I cleaned up the edges. I went over it, a gang of times, back and forth, back and forth. I was like, all right, look, this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. My first time edging it, a little bit would collect right here in the corners. So I was like a little bit like, yeah, how am I going to figure this out? I got to figure this out. So what I did was I just went ahead and just grinded out some more. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit more patience, kept on going, end up tightening it up some more, tighten it up some more. So I was like, you know what? Let me not beat a dead horse and mess it up. Like, it isn't too bad. Worst case scenario, I'll use my angle grinder, tighten up the edges, or just go ahead and sand it down. You know what I'm saying? With, whatever I could find, you know what I'm saying? Sand it down if I need to, but I'm like, look, this isn't that bad. I see some places here and there, but I was like, you know what? It's looking good enough. Leave it alone. I made that mistake in the last one where I'm like, let me chip this, let me chip that, let me do this, let me do that. And I end up messing it up. But I'm like, look, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad. I could sand down the extra little excess. It's not going to stick to the deal. I'm doing lunges at this point, trying to just tighten it up, battling with mosquitoes. But I'm like, it ain't that bad. I'm like, let me go ahead and just leave it alone. I wasn't super happy with like that, the little picture framing type of, but I was like, worst case, if it isn't the greatest, I'll go ahead and use my angle grinder, sand that down also to level it out, do the whole deal. But, yeah, looks pretty good. I'm liking it so far. And, yeah, what I'm saying? So I've been studying this guy, Creating Concrete. This is the guy's name. So he says in the first 3 days is very important, this water curing. So I'm like, man, I agree. I'm all about the water curing. I'm all about making things, making this dry pour strong. I've got a gang of dirt. That's a bunch of work. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I started the water curing process. And like I said, when Buddy's talking about it, go check his channel out, Creating Concrete. This guy, he talks a lot about like the scientific side of like, he's saying all kind of crazy, words. He's talking about, about how if the concrete is too wet, then it's going to be weak. Then it needs, if it's dry, it's going to be. So it's like, I understand. So it's confusing because even in his videos, he's throwing up question marks. Like, I'm probably confusing you. I understand. So basically he's saying this. He's saying that if the concrete mix is too wet in the beginning, it's going to be weak. He used an analogy of like putting sand into a glass of water, where the sand just sinks to the bottom and makes it weak. I'm like, I got you. So he's like, the drier the concrete is, the stronger. Then after it's finished, then you need to water it and continue to water cure it and continue to cure it for like the first 3 days. He said it hits like 40% of its strength. Then after 7 days, it hits another number. I forgot. Then you go all the way up to like 28 days, 30 days, depending on how, how big the slab or foundation or whatever you're building, whatever it is, that depending on how big it is how long you're going to cure it for. But he's all with the water curing. I am too, for this strength of concrete. We could add fibers, rebar, water curing, so there's, some more information I learned from this guy. I'll probably share it more in the next video. Thanks for watching again. I really appreciate it. I'll be coming back in the next one with, another slabs, more information, maybe some more evolution of this process. So yeah, I'm gonna burlap. I didn't get a chance because it's getting late. I'm battling with mosquitoes over there. So yeah, for sure, I'm already at this point. I'm editing this, so it's burlapped. It got the towel on it, burlap. Water curing. Where now I'm saturating it because now it's different because we're starting from dry. So if you mix the wet pour too much, like I said, the sand in the water glass, it gets weak. Then you go try to cure it. It's already kind of weak. It's all broken up. This one, he said the drier it is, the stronger it is. The less water inside of, say, a wet pour, the less water, the stronger it is. And then after it's all set up and finished, then you want to saturate it and continue the hydration process. So I'm like, man, we're kind of ahead of the game. Maybe we're ahead of the game here. So I'll share some more information in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.